So most of the cacao that we import and that we sell through Cacao Lab is actually consumed in very intentional ceremonies, which is it's a millinery practice that's gaining a lot of popularity right now, and it's taking its own spin. People are doing their own thing with it, but it's basically originally cacao, which is a seed, and it's also the main ingredient in chocolate, was prepared as a beverage and consumed during the most special occasions for indigenous communities in Central and South America. The earliest artifacts that were found with the aroma cacao are about 5,000 years old.
Wow.
So we know that at least 5,000 years ago, people were consuming cacao. And there's a whole, I mean, I could talk about this for hours.
That's what we're here for, brother.
So we could spend the entire, a couple hours talking about ceremonial cacao, but I know you wanted to talk about some other things. So, our cacao it comes from the province of Manabí in Ecuador, which is where I consider, if there's any wine drinkers in your audience, the Bordeaux region of cacao. We found very, very old farms, and we know that because the trees are very old, that have these heirloom varieties of cacao that we believe are more healthy and have a better flavor profile than some of the hybrid varieties and we can say genetically modified cacao that is probably about 99% of the world's cacao. So our cacao is this Arriba Nacional, which is the nomination of the name that the Ecuadorian variety or sub-variety has gained. And it's fermented for about 6 days. We have very personal and close relationships with our farmers. There's about 25 families that we source from. We test for cadmium. Actually, recently we were picked up by this study that just came out, another podcast.
Dr. G, yeah. You can go ahead and mention
I heard
it,
about
man.
this.
That is definitely something to gloat about. He only likes the best of the best.
It was very cool. I mean, I think we got some of the best, the lowest cadmium results, and to be frank, this was by chance. Probably one of the lowest that we've gotten, but we do test every batch of cacao that we get for cadmium, and we make them available for people to make their own decision. Cadmium is a heavy metal that's not good for you. In moderation, it won't kill you, but it also is in leafy greens, quinoa, and things that people or humans, we tend to eat a lot more of, right? Like we eat quinoa and green vegetables a lot more than we
very high in it, I believe.
So, I mean, it's just cacao for whatever reason got a lot of bad press recently, but it's there. And I mean, it's everybody in the value chain. I like to talk about the value chain rather than the supply chain is aware of what we do with our cacao, so they put their best foot forward with their heart.
That's definitely a thing nowadays with businesses, that it's just the stuff kind of just shows up at your door and nobody really knows where it came from or how it was prepared or what's really in there. And I think that's really cool that you guys are super intentional about
thank you so much.
What ends up in there. There's definitely a movement happening more towards best stuff being more pure, for sure.
I just picked up some asparagus, and there was a QR code on the packaging, on the wrapper, because everything comes wrapped anyways. And it had a picture of the farmer, or one of the farmers, and the QR code to see what it was. And I thought it was pretty cool. It's definitely what we want to. I mean, I love food, and to me, that's one of I want to make sure that what I'm eating, it might not even be the best. I might find out later that there's better stuff, but at that moment, I felt good because I know that what I'm giving myself, which is part of loving myself, is the very best that I can get.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So what got you into the cacao?
So the cacao, the company and what got me into cacao really was my sister.
Okay.
Florencia was actually friends with.
Yeah, Desiree. I met her at your baby shower.
There you go. So, about, I think it was 8 years ago, she was coming out of a bad relationship, was staying with me, and was taking some trips while she was coming in and out of New York City. And in one of her trips, she ended up at this metaphysical retreat center in Guatemala. And she had las pirámides, and she was studying lucid dreaming at the time. Nothing necessarily related to cacao, although found out there is a lot there as well. But then she came back to New York, talked to me about her experience, went to South Africa next, and had another cacao ceremony. And I think we were both a little bit similar in a lot of ways, more than we like to think. And she was reading into the signals that I think I recently picked up a book. This is a whole another thing that I've been tripping about, but it's like signals that life sends you when you're on your everyday and just aware, right? And so she came across cacao for a second time in a ceremonial setting, came back to New York, brought some with her this time around. I tasted it. We come from a chocolate making town, like a ski resort that has several 100-year-old chocolate houses or so. Very, very good chocolate. And so I tasted it, and I was like, this is a little bit burnt. I'm not sure I get it. And, you know, I was in the fast-paced New York City lifestyle, a little bit of nightlife, much like you probably can relate. And so I wasn't really feeling much of anything those days. And so I was just loading up with, like, I was drinking cacao all day and seeing if, and I think it's one of those things that works slowly and chips away at, you know, it's a heart opener. I mean, literally, like physically, it dilates your blood vessels. But it also has all these metaphysical properties when we talk about having an open heart, being vulnerable, being available, receptive. And I think I had a tough heart, and so it took a couple of years for it to really make a dent in there. But eventually, you know, I'm devoted to this company, to this movement. But it was really trying to help Flo have something that she could call of her own, that she was proud of. I at the time had a, you know, pretty decent lifestyle, and I was pretty happy with, I felt successful, but I wanted her to feel that. And so I built this with another friend who's a graphic designer as a creative project on what it would be like to build the brand and signals, develop the value chain relationships to bring a product to market, create all the protocols and all the things that you need to do to basically bring a product directly to consumer. At the time, we wanted to create a food company for Amazon with my creative partner that I was telling you about. And when Flo talked about cacao, for us, it was an experiment on building that brand and building a product, but also setting Flo up with something that she was very, very proud of and that she could call her own. So we traveled to Guatemala, bought a couple 100 kilos of cacao from a beautiful biodynamic farm. Brought it back in a suitcase. We got pulled over. TSA really couldn't believe that Florencia was going to eat 200 kilos of cacao on her own. Spent a couple hours there, but eventually, you know, I got a call from a friend in Ecuador. At the time, there was a lot of like studies coming out, studying the genetics of cacao and like showing how it was coming from the Amazonian basin in Ecuador all the way up through the Pacific trading routes, all the way up to Guatemala, Mexico, which is where this like movement or this idea that ceremonial cacao is or there's a practice of cacao ceremonies, but in actuality we learned that the genetics of cacao come from the Amazonian basin. And I get this call from a friend, again reading into life signals. I traveled to Ecuador, paid him to take me around the country for 2 weeks, and we visited different cacao growing regions. Finally, I found this place that was magical, which is the province of Manabí in Ecuador. Made a relationship with this nonprofit foundation that's functioning as our exporter, and it's one thing led to another, and you know, we're very devoted to this practice, to this movement. And so like over the years the company kept growing. It was our intention to be economically independent and not contribute to a system that we didn't believe in. So for us, buying advertisement from companies like Google and things like that was a no. So it was really a process of like word of mouth, real grassroots, like you know, being present at parties and events and of various forms in New York City, co-working spaces that built the brand and the community around it. And then, during the pandemic, we did this thing. My sister volunteered to do cacao ceremonies every day at 11 a.m. for the community, free of charge, online, and it just grew internationally. The company grew about 300% during that period of the initial few months of the pandemic. And when we came out of it, we had retreated to a little house that our family has in the Jersey Shore, and we were just by the water, a blessing that we were able to stay there. And during that period, we really began to build better protocols for the brand, really studying what we needed to do. And then when we came back into New York City, we realized that we had outgrown our space there, and so we needed in a bigger space. We moved up to Kingston and opened up a shop in Kingston, New York. And yeah, I mean, now it's getting to the point where I spend a lot of time making chocolate, right? Which is nothing I ever dreamed of or imagined that I would be doing, right? I dress up as Willy Wonka for Halloween, and the movie's a little bit weird. Some of the racial storytelling in there, but I just think it's funny that I'm Willy Wonka, right?
Yeah, just making chocolate, man.
Just making chocolate, man.
Did you think that was going to be the American dream?
No. But yeah, I am living the dream. I think if I could ever imagine a life that would be worth living, I think I'm doing it.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah, it's an incredible story that you guys were able to build that from. And that I think the coolest part about what you said was that it's something that you had no plan of, and then you just kind of listened to what the universe was telling you, and then somehow now magically you have this super successful company.
Yeah.
That's amazing. You followed that kind of whisper of, I just got to go to Ecuador and figure this out, and now here you are.
Yeah. One step at a
should
time.
We try it? What do you think?
I was just gonna ask you.
Yeah, hell yeah. Well, yeah. Tell us a little bit about what we've got going on here. Yeah, exactly.
So the cacao is the cacao that I was just telling you about. It's cacao from this group of about 25 families, and what I put in it today, I made it cold because it's about 100 degrees outside today. So I put a couple of drops of mint oil. And I use panela, which is a sweetener, sugar. It's very raw, unrefined cane sugar. It's processed at the farm level, which is usually taken to a facility and processed so that you only get the sweet stuff. But panela retains a lot of vitamins, minerals. It's rich in A, B1, B6, B12, C, D, E, iron, magnesium, potassium, and people in Colombia usually will drink agua panela, which is this cane sugar water, when they're sick because it's so nutritionally dense. So this panela I sourced from a farm just north of Quito, again in Ecuador. Thank you. Absolutely. The farmer's name is Humberto Reyes. We also test this for cadmium. And this is a sweetener that I used.
Nice.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Absolutely. So,
all right.
I love to be able to do what my sister does, and she's very good with words and her practice. But I'm just gonna give gratitude for being here with you guys today.
We appreciate it. Glad to have you.
Same. Yeah.
Delicious. I love it. I like it cold. I like the cacao cold. I'm not going to lie. I do it all the time at Elixir. I always get it cold. People always think that they want it hot, and I'm like, you should try it cold though. It's pretty good. Yeah, it's something else.
It's like I love mint chocolate chip ice cream. That's right up my alley. Love this. This is great.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite for the summers with a little bit of mint essential oil. It's easy. Or you can just put a couple of mint leaves. Just right in your blender. What's your recipe?
Yeah, we blend it with a little bit of coconut butter, some cayenne, cinnamon, some other stuff, and the cacao and the rose. The rose and the cacao together are like the big sellers on that.
Is that the cosmic cacao?
Yeah, the cosmic cacao at Elixir.
Gotcha. Nice. This is awesome.
Yeah. Very good. So you got some other stuff going on too that is very prominent with this month. It's Men's Mental
My
Health
baby?
Month.
Oh, okay.
Oh, we'll get there. We'll get to there. It's Men's Mental Health Month, and you and your partner at Elixir, at Kelta, you and Taylor together are doing men's and women's groups, and you're taking care of the men's group. So I feel like that'd be a great topic to touch on a little bit here.
Absolutely. In fact, I was just speaking with one of your guests who you referred
Manny?
us to. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's gonna be a guest.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
hell yeah. No.
men's circles. Are you guys part of one?
No, we've never
No.
been.
You should join.
I've been wanting to go though. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you probably partook in many circles in the past, or
I haven't. No.
You have not?
No,
Oh, perfect.
Every conversation with Manny is a men's circle.
Yeah, no doubt.
That's a fact. That's 100%
doubt.
a fact. Yeah.
So that's a big part of, like, I mean, there's so much to be said, right? Like,
Yeah.
this is a big thing now, like men's circles. So it's just cool because the first time I did one, I felt like I needed to be secretive about it. It was like a bad thing that I was doing, that I was just like, like getting together with other men in cahoots.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think what I'd like to do differently is take the showman stuff off of it, right? Like, there's a lot of like poncho wearing and like wide brim hat wearing, which is cool. And I say that to be funny a little bit, right? But it's like everybody does the same thing and looks the same way and speaks the same way. And one of the things that I like is to bring men from different walks of life who have been a beacon of light, like Manny, like you said, to me, right? That like bring wisdom that, like, I'm like, hell yeah. Like, I wasn't able to put into words what this man just said, but that's what I believe in and that's what I'm about. And also like being open to other points of view and things that I may not have thought about before. Right. But yeah, so Manny is going to be our guest on August 14th. We're doing it the second Thursday of every month. And it is our intention to provide a safe space for people to express. Because one of the things that I was listening to Manny talk about, his circles, he ran circles for quite a while. I had some experience with doing that online during the pandemic with a couple of friends, and it was centered around the beverage of cacao. So it's a lot of the themes that we talked about in our cacao circles as well. But I took a step back from leadership role in that circle, and I hadn't really had a space, and I think I need it more than ever now because it's a lot with our work, with the baby, with everything. So it's basically where you can speak your mind and not be judged because you might have used the wrong word or said the wrong thing. And there's other men there who have a similar experience in society that can help you maybe see where you might be having a weird thought or something that might not be beneficial for you or others, or also support you and be like, hey, like, I hear you. Because one of the masculine qualities is to be a giver, right? And so, like, a lot of the times we're like taking care of people. I know because of my life experiences in childhood, I tend to like jump on and try and like save people. So it's tough to find a place where you can express and take it off and be like, can I curse?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So
crazy.
The difference here is we'd like to bring different people, as opposed to just having one voice. Like I don't believe that I have an absolute truth. I don't ever want to get to that point. And so for me, it's important to have people that have different ideas, different techniques, different modalities, different perspectives to come and bring up a conversation. Maybe it's not even like a practice. Maybe it's just literally like with Manny, he's just leading a conversation around a topic that we picked. Yeah, I can talk about. It's basically like, what are the qualities and traits of masculinity, and the concept of toxic masculinity, which is a really interesting word that's used and tossed around a lot. It always makes me feel a little weird, but I'm curious what other people think. And Manny has I think a perspective similar to mine, but it's going to be an interesting conversation. We're just going to talk about it. I think it's a good place to start. One of the first things that we're doing because, and that's part of it. Maybe I'm giving too much, but I do feel like talking about toxic masculinity it's erroneous in that it brings up the idea that there are traits, masculine traits that are negative or that could turn negative, and it's not that. I think if you're a toxic person, you're a toxic person. It has nothing to do with your positive qualities that you might be able to use for good. So, yeah, that's happening. I'm very excited about it, especially that it's in person and it's at Kelto, which is
A beautiful space for it.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Beautiful space.
Yeah,
for
that's definitely one of our best looking episodes, especially before we started being in the studio.
I have to
Just that
say,
room.
we did a good. I barely helped. I really just honestly, I paid one of my employees to go work there for me while they were building it because I just didn't have the time for a couple of hours. I didn't do a lot, but it was a beautiful 2 month. Like they put together the most beautiful space that I've seen in a long time.
Yeah,
it
it's
really
very
is.
soothing and calm, and feel very comfortable and safe there.
Yeah, I got to sit in that room the other day, and I did the
Compression
The
boots.
leg
yeah,
clothes?
the compression sleeves on my legs, which was it's just a nice time being there every time. So, getting into doing the men's circle and then your background with the cacao ceremonies, let's talk a little bit about you and what's brought you to this space in your life where you feel the need to be vulnerable and speak out and have those conversations with other people.
Oh boy, we can go down a rabbit hole. I spent so much of my life hiding, half of it for various reasons. I guess just to keep myself safe. And having son recently, it brings tears to my eyes because it's made it so that I don't want that anymore. And so I think part of it is that now I feel safe to this is my life. It's easy and
Absolutely, man.
I'm coming to that. I think fatherhood brought the best out of me.
Yeah. You want to talk about Rio? You want to dive into that a little bit and how that's really opened you up and changed your life, man? Because I can see it's definitely something that's very deep in your
beautiful.
heart. Yeah.
I never wanted to be a dad. I know you're on your way. How many months?
Oh, she's due at the beginning of August, so we have a month and a week left.
Yeah, basically Rio was supposed to come in September, but he came in the middle of August, so right around that time. It's very stressful. I think I told you, be ready before you're supposed to be ready because he came early and it happened. It's the first few months. I know you're in shape. I saw you running the other day. What were you doing? 8 miles?
Yeah, I run a lot.
That's light for you, bro.
Running's very big for me. It's like how you say we do the men's circles and stuff, and having that space. Running for me is my personal space where I can I can have my thoughts go through my head and I can acknowledge them without being super absorbent of them and really diving in and going down a rabbit hole and beating myself up over stuff. I feel physical exertion to me, finding your edge and pushing yourself physically really helps you expand mentally. You know what I mean? It clears out space that you didn't have because I'll have thoughts that'll be eating me up for a couple days, and if I go for the right run and it's long and I can think about it well enough and really have the intention that I'm going to work through it while I'm running, I'm good after that,
Yeah, I was just gonna say I started working out after Rio came because I needed it for that reason, and I'm glad you're doing it before because it's the first few months are just gonna rock.
Yeah.
You're gonna be little sleep, very little time.
I'm already there, man.
Yeah.
I'm up at I was always a early person, 6:45, 7. Now I'm up at 5, and I roll over and I look at Des and I'm I gotta get up.
What, to go get stuff done or what?
I just I feel like having having the kid, you still need to take care of you so you can show up for Rio and be the best dad that you want to be.
I didn't realize that.
So for me it's I know that when I wake up, I could be a little bit tired. I might not want to get going for the day. I might want to lay around a little bit longer. But for me to be the best that I know I can be for me, so I can be better for Des with what she's going through right now, being pregnant, and when the baby comes, being prepared, like, there's going to be very little me time.
Yeah.
So it's going to be very important to emphasize using that time alone to do something.
Right, no, I'm not going to tell you anything new, but yeah, for me, it was like, I didn't see it coming. It wasn't unexpected. Like, it wasn't like we were trying, but doctors had said it wasn't going to be a thing. And right away. So it was a shocker. It moved me. I had to move from Kingston to here. It was a lot, and I wasn't sleeping very much, and man, there was times where I was, to be honest, I was like, fuck, I can't do this. I gotta run away. I'm literally gonna put on my running shoes and run away like Forrest, you know. But you keep showing up, and it's such a rewarding thing when you're looking at this sentient being, conscious person looking back at you. You want to do better, right? And so that's where I'm at, trying to do better. It's awesome. I love it. I love it so much.
Yeah. What are some of the things that you really like to work on for yourself, for your relationship?
Gosh, I can't stop crying now.
It's okay.
No, it's a beautiful thing, man. You're not the first person to cry on this podcast. Trust me. No.
Both of us have. Really? Yeah, we got it out of the way early, like 10, 15 episodes in.
Yeah. Because you're bringing up topics and you're asking the questions that touch you as well.
Yeah.
Wait, so what was the question?
So what are some of the things that you make sure are important for you now, besides like working out, some of the things that you do to make sure you show up the best?
Honestly, right now, that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
Self-care. And I started getting some treatments at Kelta also. For a while, I stopped. And I gotta get back on the wheel, but it's I was going there once a week doing the sauna, then a little acupuncture, and then the float tank. And I think that part, like making room for self-reflection, is what I try and do regularly. I think it's one of the only things that I can do, because I don't know, I'm a weird dude, honestly. Not just like the things that I do, but it just I don't like people telling me what to do, and so I'm a very independent thinker, and it's hard for me to get help outside. I usually need to go in. Making space for those type of things, for like that to happen, is I think the best thing that I can do on a regular basis. I'm my worst critic. I'm so hard on myself. So. That's
I struggle with that too. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I'm curious to ask you, because you said something in the beginning that was like, I used to have a very tough heart, and then you said that now, like, not only the Cacao, but having a son has like really opened you up. What was like something that you noticed about yourself that you realized that your heart was starting to open?
My level of empathy grows daily.
Yeah.
Up. For myself, for others.
Yeah.
Even people that are just cruel.
Yeah. Yeah. You can kind of like, you can almost see that, like, I used to feel that way, and I would take it out on other people. And you can kind of have that empathy to be like, I know where you're coming from, and I know it's not about me, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Correct.
Right? You can kind of like open yourself up that like you're content with who you are. And that like oftentimes how people express things, especially us as men, that these things come out and they're intense or they're aggressive or whatever it is, and that a lot of times it's just about like what's going on in your own head versus being angry that your car is not ready at the right time or whatever the fuck it is.
Sure.
You know? Yeah.
And ultimately, it's just like surrendering to the fact that there are things that you can do nothing, absolutely nothing about.
Yeah.
That, I think, because you still have to deal with those people. I'm not talking about like the guy that's like working hard and not having your car ready. I'm talking about and like people that have hatreds for certain like marginalized groups, for example, right? Like people that are like already in like bad circumstances, and for whatever reason there seems to be hatred towards them. I'm just literally talking about minorities, right? Like,
Sure.
Those are things that really affected me growing up, like seeing that racism, poverty, like, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. That's they're not easy things to talk about, but that's why we're here, you know, right?
Yeah. Gosh, thank you.
No, thank you.
Absolutely, man.
No, thank you.
I could go in like so many different directions as you're speaking.
There's really, like, you know, we can take this wherever you want. Like, I love that you're being super vulnerable right now, because I think that it's something that I always viewed, especially when I was younger, as a weakness.
Sure.
And it's beautiful to see you do that.
Thank you. I mean, it's part of it, like what you were just asking me, right? Like, what do you feel? Why do you feel that now you can be open and you can hold space for other men, or you know, host a circles? And I think it's I'm not ashamed anymore for anything. I mean, there are some things that, like, you know, like I that were part of my past that, like, I'm not necessarily like super proud of. I'm not ashamed of them, but they're like, you know, like, even talking about some of those things, like, you know, like, would probably be okay, you know, like, and it's, yeah. What's always, it's wonderful, right? Because, like, men's circles, like, all these, there's space for that.
Yeah, of course.
There's space for that. And if anybody doesn't like it,
yeah. Exactly.
it's not for me.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. You also mentioned in the beginning, talking about self-love, loving yourself. How do you practice that for yourself, or what was that like for you to learn how to do that?
First off, like, it wasn't too long ago that I would react with anger when somebody showed me love. I just couldn't accept it. Lately, I've been doing, like, taking time for self-reflection, exercise, and eating. You know, like, I one of my hobbies is gardening. I like growing my own food, so, like, I spend time in the garden, and I allow for that. It's like, sometimes I would feel guilty. It's like, oh, I should be doing something else or whatever. This is what brings me peace right now. Like, it doesn't matter. I got 10 heads of lettuce, whatever. And it took me 50 hours this summer. That brings me peace. And those little things, you know.
Sometimes it's a lot simpler than we think, you know. It doesn't need to be this massive gesture for yourself. Sometimes it's just something as simple as going outside. Having a nice beverage for yourself, you know,
or a good conversation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I treasure these things now, you know, like we get to do this.
Yeah.
And that people like you are willing.
Now I see why you do it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Having conversations like this, I feel like not only does it help you open up and work through some stuff that you might be going through, you might not even know that you're going through it, but, like, having those conversations in this space, you're like, oh, okay, shit, man, I had some stuff in my head today, and it's all coming out right now, and, like, that's perfectly fine. And it's important to have those conversations and have those people that you can feel comfort around to do that. I think it speaks to me and JP the level of comfort that you feel that you can be open like this around us, which I really appreciate.
You guys just started laughing at me.
No, never. Like that. That's never. Just like, but that's something that you would think of that holds most men down, because they don't want to have these conversations because your friend's going to be like, "Stop being a pussy."
Sure.
You know what I mean?
But I gotta tell you, like, my father's one of the toughest people I know. Like, I watch him in and out of prison, like, hard ass guy, you know. And I've seen him cry so much my entire life. It's not something that he was ashamed of. He was emotional. He just cried. Yeah. But yeah, I don't understand why people don't cry.
Such a good release. It's a great release of energy.
Why wouldn't you express it?
Yeah. That, I think, is something that you and I have both touched on the podcast, was that, like, once we kind of, like, acknowledge the fact that this is, like, a couple of years ago. This isn't when we were both, like, super sensitive as kids. But when you're a teenage boy talking to your friend about how, like, hey, like, this person hurt me, or things aren't great at home, or whatever it might be, like, like you said, you're worried about being called like a pussy or whatever it is. That's, I think, what I love the most about this is that, like, you know, we can have all sorts of different people and all sorts of different things, but there is something like special about the fact that like men can be open here, us included.
Yeah.
So full circle, right? Like, I mean, that's the space that we want to provide at the men's circles, and it's very diverse,
Yeah.
which I love, because typically circles that I've been part of in the past are not so much, but here there's some tough guys, some like more sensitive guys, like all, and then we can talk ethnicity and all and whatever. But I'm just saying, there's people all across, somebody to maybe be a mirror for, or the other way around, that somebody can be a mirror for you. I hope to bring some of the most insightful men to help lead the conversations. Thankfully, because of this community, Cacao community that we're part of, there's a lot of beautiful talent to tap onto. Some of them are far away, so it's been a little bit difficult in the first couple of months to get some of these people out here, but there's some people that I've come across that have really helped me also, like in answer to your other question about how did I get here, I've come across a lot of angels. I'm grateful for that, you know.
That's incredible. I'm wondering, because you said, you know, you never saw yourself that like you'd have the ability to like be a father or do like that. But also, like, you're doing things like, did you ever see yourself as being able to be like a leader? You know, like you're leading these circles, and I don't know if you realize it right now, but you're being a leader right now.
Like one of the things in school that I took, my takeaways was somebody that's like, you know, there was some activity and they were choosing like people that would be good leaders for groups, and I wanted to be one, but they said no. And so I never wanted to be in the spotlight. I never feel comfortable with that. And it's difficult still. That's why, like, I think part of like bringing different people to help lead the conversation. Yes, sure, it's because we want diversity in the points of view and the things that we talk about, but also because I don't feel that, you know. I hear you, and and when I acknowledge, because I like to self-reflect again, when I see that I'm in a position where I have to lead people, like in my company or in the circles, sometimes at home, it's a lot of responsibility, you know, to say the least, because you have to show them, you have to be a good example.
Absolutely. Yeah.
How many managers that we've had that, like, you know, it's like, dude, go do this, and then the third is like, yep, why you don't do it? So we have to, when you're a leader, you have to be in your best behavior, and that's difficult. I think.
How long has that taken you to adjust to? Still working on it, right?
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah. At work, it's gotten a lot better over the years, but I'm working on it every day.
How do you find that, the skills that you've developed from changing and becoming more open and vulnerable have impacted the relationships in your life with, like, other people? Like, you have a partner, but like your business, with people that you work with your family, with your sister, like, how do you find that these changes that have happened in your life have made these relationships better? Oh,
that's like, how is it being open-hearted and like more empathetic, perhaps, like being like, how does it, like, how does that impact?
I know for me, like, I always had a weird relationship with my parents, but it was more based on a narrative that I built for myself as a child. But as I have started to do the work and unpack the trauma and the stuff that I dealt with as a kid, I've really emphasized making time for, like, we go to my family's house every Saturday, and we either go to church with my parents and then have dinner, or we just like hang out at the house. But family was never something that I was like big on emphasizing when I was a kid, and now it's like super important to me. And it's because I've opened up to being more, I'm not trying to control the situation or the narrative of everybody in my family and like how I should feel about how something my dad said, you know what I mean? Like, I kind of opened up to just like everybody's doing their own thing, and we'll be cohesive as long as I'm assuming that we're cohesive because I'm doing what I have to do in this situation. You know what I mean?
Well, that's very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I mean, I was thinking something totally different, but now that you bring that up, that part, I think it's a mixed bag because, like, in some situations, right, like, you definitely get more out of being empathetic. It's just being understanding of other people's needs, feelings, emotions makes them more receptive. So, like, in a leadership role where you're trying to sell somebody on something, an idea or something that they need to do, it helps being empathetic and being, you know. But also, like, being open-hearted and being vulnerable means that you're open to what's happening right now. It's like feeling your feelings and feeling other people's feelings, right? Like, I always, like, laugh when people talked about being an empath, like, for example, right? Like, oh, I'm an empath. Like, this is a title that I wear, and this is what I am and what I do. It's like, what do you mean? This is like, I feel things also. Like, it's not that, like, I think everybody has the ability. Okay, so cool. You're an empath. You've developed that ability. But I think why I really laughed is because I didn't believe that it was possible. And, yeah, I mean, it's probably the most, what you just brought up is the most difficult part. Like, when somebody's telling me, like, one of my employees the other day was just like, my husband is in prison because he got into a fight with his cousin and the cops came and they took him away and I need $10,000 to bail him out. And I'm like, first off, I don't have that kind of money. Second off, I don't know if you're going to come back. And how am I going to get this money back, which I need for Rio's college, for whatever happens tomorrow. So I feel terrible. What do you need, more hours? Shit, I don't really need you that much. I only need you for, but you know what? Come the 30 hours that you need to come for so you can get this money. But it's like, that's not benefiting my business. So that's what I'm saying. It's, on one way, it's good for everybody. It provides for a good work environment for people. As a leader and as a company manager or owner, whatever you call it, I deliver. The things get done because I have happy people working. But on the other end, it's like sometimes I tend to put myself last, and it's a balance. It's a game.
I think that's a very typical thing that a lot of guys struggle with. Is
Giving
that
too
like
much?
No. Is like taking care of yourself and the self-care, and then you end up lashing out, or you have nothing to show up with because you were so worried about what everybody else was doing that all of a sudden, like, you forgot to, like, make sure that you were even just, like, okay. Forget about being good.
Sure, right.
And it's hard because it's like we all have that, like, provider instinct, whether it's with your family or your employees or whatever it might be, and it can be very difficult because you feel responsible for all of that, right? And it's not easy, and it's like you said, you're being torn in these two different ways of being, like, you know, a good businessman and then just being a good person and wanting to help, and even just having that conflict there can create a lot of noise in here, and then before you know it, you're worried about something else that had nothing to do with any of it.
Yeah, and the more people, the more stories. Like, everybody's got something going on. And myself, but the more people that you hire, and it's just like a lot to carry.
Yeah, of course, absolutely. Yeah, I can't even imagine. It's
and our company's not that big, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I don't have a company that's as big as yours, so
just one person, just your partner.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, but you're right. It's. I think that also that's what ends up happening is that you end up comparing your journey to somebody else, right? And thinking that, oh, well, this company has more followers, this company got mentioned on this podcast, this company has that, or whatever it might be, or maybe a company that has the ability to say, like, we have that money, like, yeah, you go do that. But ultimately, it's just like you have to embrace what you're able to do at that point.
Yeah, and
that's hard. But that's hard to say that, like, I want to go 110%, but right now I only have 60 for you.
Yeah, I mean, again, another black hole, like, you know, entrepreneurship and budget. Yeah, there's a lot there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I just finished, by the way, about just a little piece of a little gold nugget for any entrepreneurs here.
Mm-hmm.
There's a program by the SBA, and you can go on the SBA website. If anybody running their own business right now, a small business, has not visited the SBA website, just put a pause on this. I'm sorry. Go on the SBA.
We already got the view. It's fine.
The SBA website has this thing called the Thrive Emergent Leaders Program, which is a course that it's presented by a private entity, but the SBA pays for the whole thing. It will cost $15,000. It's a 6-month commitment. You meet once a month with your local cohort, because there's groups all over the country, and they have them twice a year, I think. Mm-hmm. And then you have online classes. It changed everything for me.
Yeah.
It's an amazing course for small business owners to get your business on track and buy yourself time. It's all about going from working in your business to working on your business. And it's a totally different approach.
Yeah.
I would imagine that that's a very hard transition for a lot of business owners, because in the beginning you have to put in everything, right? Mm-hmm. But then, like, the whole point of having one is that once it's successful, or once it gets to a point, is that, like, you want to be able to grow it or have more time with your family or whatever it might be. But that, for a lot of people, is tough to just kind of let go of that grip.
Yeah, and but it's tough because we're creatures of habit, not because you necessarily love the grind. It's just what you become used to. So, like, if you, like, for one, you feel guilty when you start letting go. Oh, I should be working. Especially like, talk about empathy. Like, I go to, like, the shop sometimes and I see the people there working, and I feel that I need to be in there working with them, because it's like, why do I get to sit here and, like, not? But no, it's like I am working. I'm working on this big machine with all this moving parts, and include human beings and computers and things, and it's a lot to manage. So if nobody's at the helm of that, it goes away. So that's a reminder that you got to make yourself. I'm doing what I need to be doing, because otherwise nobody here is going to have a job.
Yeah, and by growing that and doing that, you'll be able to give other people opportunities, hire more people, you know, make people full time, whatever it might be.
It's about doing the right thing. It's about having a bigger impact. One of my friends once said, I'm a competitive helper, and I know I need money to help, so I got to get that money.
That's a good way of putting it.
That's a great way of putting it.
Hopefully then you put your money where your mouth is.
Yeah, absolutely.
What has it been like trying to balance, now that you're a father, the business, being a father, taking care of yourself, the whole shtick?
Well, honestly, man, Taylor, like, I admire her so much, and she's a big reason why I was able to start. She helped me with my application for the SBA. I mean, for that course, she's got constant, like, really good insight. But yeah, I mean, it was tough. It was tough for me. I'm not a very organized person at all. I'm kind of messy. I could be lazy. So it was very difficult, but Taylor's helped a lot. So I got myself a little help.
Yeah, that's important. It's always important to have a good team around you.
Yeah. Yeah, that support is key. To, like, have somebody who
challenges you.
Yeah, challenge you, like, and, like, sees your potential, like, sees that you're, like, I know that you think today you're lazy, but I know that you're more than just lazy today, you know. And sometimes that's all you need, is, like, those words to be like, yeah, you're right, I am. Yeah, I run a fucking cacao business. Yeah. Yeah.
And all the other things.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that's where I'm at right now. It's, for me, it's about, like, the most important things are my house, my son, and myself. Like, right, I gotta take care of myself, but my business is not a priority right now, unfortunately.
Yeah.
You know, not my top priority, I should say.
Yeah. Well, one of the ways I like to look at, because, you know, sometimes we think that life needs to be so balanced and you have to have all your hands and everything. And, like, I like to look at it more as like you're kind of in different seasons. So like at one point there was a season where you were just like, this was your thing, right? It wouldn't be what it is now if you weren't focused on it at that point, right? And then there was a season where like maybe you met your partner and you were building that, and that was the most important thing. And now like you have a child, and obviously that one trumps it all, like, you know, and that it's just like, okay, like this is where I'm at in life, and then there will be another point where something else is more important. Yeah. And maybe I know what that is, maybe I don't know what that is, but like right now, like
I'm in daddy season.
Yeah, exactly. Family season, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's kind of like what I was reading, something that was about how what makes that rewarding is the fact that you're consciously making a choice to make that the most important thing. So what only makes it important is what, like, it wouldn't be that important if you could have your hand in everything, right? And, and spend all your time and all this, whatever. But what makes it so important is because you have to say no to other things in order to do that. Yeah. Right?
What's cool is I found that people are a lot more understanding.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have a child, you know?
Yeah.
I'm so excited for you.
Thank you, man. I'm very excited myself. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm going away next weekend, and I was just like, anytime after next weekend, you're good. As soon as I get back, if you want to have the baby, I'm cool with it, but not before.
You're gonna do great. When are you going? What are you doing?
I'm going to Nashville next weekend for a concert with one of my friends. Yeah,
love Nashville.
Never been, so first time.
Do you eat meat?
Yes.
It's a little food cart outside of a plumbing store.
Okay.
It's called the Butt Hut.
The Butt Hut?
Best barbecue out there.
Okay. Definitely got to try it. I'm looking forward to it.
It's legit. Like, it's just a trailer.
You tell Desiree I'm at the Butt Hut right now. She's like, what the fuck is that,
dude? Please go there.
No, for sure. I mean, I love food, so that's definitely on my list of things to do while I'm there. But it's just a quick trip, 2 days, and then I'll be back. But like I said, I'm just like really looking forward to getting it going. We met with the doula yesterday, so that was nice. It made me feel a lot more comfortable.
You're gonna have them at the hospital?
Yeah, she'll be there. Yeah, she'll be there at the hospital.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Did you guys use the doula?
There was whoever was there.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No. We went out and got the doula. She does like a little bit of stuff pre-birth and then a few postpartum visits as well. But it was just that like really geared me up because the only thing I was really stressed about was like her birth plan, like the things that she's really been stressing on.
Well,
and we got all that done yesterday.
We got lucky, dude.
Yeah.
Because I mean, we're very Taylor is very commonsensical. Mm-hmm. So I want to get into the whole dynamics of the medical system, but she's like, yeah, whatever they serve me, I'm not.
Yeah.
But I also like respect whatever she wanted. So like having a doula was like unnecessary, but we got lucky because there were some ladies that are like, they're gonna come here and try and tell you this, that, and the third. You gotta tell them no, because you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
And that was lucky. That's a good hospital though. By the way, one of my good friends works in that department.
Oh, okay.
It's
yeah,
like,
I actually just found out she did hair and makeup the other day for one of my friend's wives. They're getting married, so she was doing like her trial to see if she liked everything for the wedding, and Sylvia was actually like, yeah, I'll be in the maternity ward like around that time.
It's good to have somebody you know.
Yeah, no, it made me feel a lot more comfortable too. Yeah.
Well, I'll be happy to bring you some sandwiches if you'll take them.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Somebody brought
for sure.
me this amazing sandwich from a local deli there, so I'll make the trip up just because. I don't know. I had that experience. I think you might like it too.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna keep throwing like names out here of things, but there's a good deli out there.
Okay. Yeah, man. I'm definitely looking.
We don't miss a chance for a good deli, man. That's fine. You can throw whatever you want in there.
Rossi's deli.
Oh yeah. We just had food here at the studio from there, bro.
God.
They're incredible. Yeah.
Number 4.
Unbelievable.
Jeez.
Yeah. That's good stuff, man. That's good stuff.
I'll bring you number 4 if that's cool.
Okay, I'm down.
we had number 4s here. Yeah, that's the one. That's the one, right?
That's the one.
That's the one.
Yeah, man. So if you want to, we don't want to take up all your time today, and I know you got.
Same with you guys.
Huh?
Same with you.
Yeah,
But
no, I know you have a family to go home to and take care of.
Soon we'll be saying that about
when
you.
I was there
Yeah, I'm
too.
already thinking. Me and him were talking about it on the way here, like planning out episodes for like August, and I was like, "Phew."
Because you're gonna have to. How far ahead are you?
So right now, I mean, like we aren't as far ahead as we'd like to be.
Yeah, we haven't.
We used to be way further ahead than we are.
There was a
now.
point when we were like 6 or 7 episodes ahead that we just had them in the tank to release weekly.
And then it felt like as we were releasing them, we were like, what the hell is this episode even about? Because you were so far
I couldn't even keep track of which one was which. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. So we're.
But I want to get back to that point for sure. Yeah.
We're in a space right now where we're trying to build up the amount of episodes that we have recorded. But we put something out every Monday.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think right now, we're also kind of trying to focus more on the quality within each episode versus like
quantity.
Yeah.
No, like what you get out of this episode versus like the amount of episodes that we put out. Not just putting one out for the sake of putting one out.
So is it gonna be like is the frequency gonna change or just gonna have?
No, we're gonna try and keep it to every Monday. I mean, like right now we've missed like 2 times in the last like couple months just because we didn't have anything pre-recorded, but we like to stay on top of it. I mean, it's like any business that you need to be full in on it and make sure you're taking care of what needs to be done so it can operate smoothly. Mm-hmm. So getting back to that, but we have really there. If you look, there's like maybe 45 episodes that are just me and JP. So like now it's probably like
that's how it started. Yeah.
Your episode will probably be like the 10th in a row that's just us with a guest, which is something we've shifted more to because like not only to having you come on and talk about the Cacao Lab and the men's circle, like it's to pull in. People can only get so much from me and him talking all the time. It's good to have people come on because you are an expert at everything you've been through in your life. You know what I mean? So for you to talk about the stuff that you've been through, there's somebody sitting at home that's listening or watching that's been through something similar and that they can hone in on that. So we like to try and have guests and pull as much.
A thread, like a common thread across the...
I mean, we normally keep it to mental health stuff, you know? Like, you guys, you're doing the men's circle right now. Obviously, you're also an open-minded person, so it's nice to have that kind of conversation. But we always try and kind of keep it on that thread. We were talking a little bit on
change.
The way here.
I feel like even like change and transformation, which is obviously very connected to mental health, is like, and that's why I feel you resonated very well because right away you were like, I used to be like this, and now X, Y, and Z has happened to me, and now I'm a much different person that I never thought I'd be. That's where the title comes from, you know? Yeah. Who thought you'd be here talking about being a dad on a podcast, right?
Yeah.
The best dream ever.
Yeah, exactly.
The best dream ever.
That's awesome.
I get excited about change.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like...
Were you always like that? Or is that something you've become more accustomed to?
Yeah, I've become more accustomed to it, but I've learned to just love it.
It's the only constant in your life. Tomorrow. The only thing that's constant is change. Yeah. Everything's always changing, you know?
And it's exciting. It's a good thing. Mm-hmm. Imagine you had to like... One of my biggest fears was like, well, actually, you know, I come to think about it now. One of my biggest fears was living a monotonous, boring life. Mm-hmm. It's like how exciting it is, like to just put yourself out there in harm's way. Mm-hmm. Yeah. By harm, I mean like
but also find out like how strong you are and find out like what you're capable of. Like you don't find out that you're capable of being a dad by not being one,
by not going out,
or by not trying, or by not putting yourself out there.
The story of how I became a dad is it's probably enough for another like episode, but I'll quickly tell you, Desiree was a big part of it.
Oh, really?
First off, I had no idea upstate New York existed. I'm Argentinian. I've only lived here for like a decade and a half, 2 decades actually. Mm-hmm. But I drove up here and it went because I saw a whole bunch of open stores in Kingston and I needed a commercial space to run my business out of. Open a store in Kingston. Knew nothing about Kingston, but just pulled up with 3 truckloads full, which I emptied into my store myself. Built the thing. And then I was in a relationship at the time, but my partner moved away, and I was just alone, minding my own business, traveling, having fun. And Desiree's friend, Taylor, walked into the shop with her mom and her mom's partner, and we were supposed to get together with Taylor. I was trying to sell you chocolate, honey. We were gonna go on a date. So, but fair enough. Sure enough, we went on a date. Yeah. We hit it off. And then one day, she decided she wanted to have a baby, and I said, I love you, absolutely, whatever you want.
See, now we can compare these though, because she told this story on the podcast too. We can go back and forth.
She probably told you something totally different.
We can go back and forth. I don't remember specifically.
I like to get a rise out of her every once in a while, so this is a good part. But yeah, I mean, it was random, totally unexpected, and it's beautiful. Like, if I didn't just decide to get in my car and go drive upstate to like see if I could rent a store in Kingston, which is, to me, it's like
When you came here,
the middle of nowhere, whatever.
When you came here
No
from
offense to anybody.
Argentina, you lived in New York City.
In the middle. Oh, in Argentina, I also lived in the middle of nowhere.
Okay.
I moved to just over the bridge in Jersey.
Okay.
Then I moved to a city once I was of age. I spent a couple of years at my mother's house when we first moved, and then I moved to New York City. And I did everything you possibly imagine, from working on Wall Street to like a marketing company, a little bit of nightlife, and whatever New York City provided.
Yeah.
And and then this company, but
Yeah. Whether it's good or bad or both or whatever it is, what do you think is the what are some of the things that you learned from like your childhood, or even like that time where, because how old were you when you moved to America?
15.
You were 15. So like what are some of the things that like you still carry with you that you feel like are very ingrained in who you are as a person because of growing up in Argentina and then having that transition at a time where like being 15 is tough no matter where you live.
At the middle age, because I meet a lot of people that came when they were younger, and they're a lot more Americanized, quote unquote, like the culture. They're acculturation. What is that? What do you call it? That process?
Appropriation, yeah.
Acculturation. I think it's a becoming part of that culture. It's a lot stronger than mine. And then my sister is part of that group. And then people who came older after that age of 15, 16 they're not able to assimilate. And I think I came in that sweet spot where I think I assimilate pretty well. Most people think I'm a New Yorker. And I also I speak like in Spanish. I mean, I do a lot of like code switching where I like try and sound like the person that I'm speaking with, because I think that's important. But it's like when I speak with people from Mexico, I try and use their lexicon. When I speak with people from DR, wherever, Ecuador, I go to Ecuador. But I speak like an Argentinian, and I sound like an Argentinian. I drink mate every day. My Taylor got me a beautiful grill. Well, I took the grates out of this beautiful grill and I threw them on the ground.
Yep.
Yes, you
and
did.
I barbecue on the ground.
You were cooking in the ground?
Because that's how we grew up. You know?
Hell yeah.
We
That's
didn't
awesome.
I saw that firsthand in the baby shower.
We didn't have things, so like I'm resourceful. That's a word. I'm resourceful.
Yeah.
Because growing up in
That's a lot. That's the thing that a lot of us Americans don't have. We're not
resilience and resourcefulness.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's just a process that this country has gone through. I mean, like coming out of World War II, people had to become resourceful to overcome poverty and difficult situations and challenges. And over decades, people, because there's an abundance of resources, money, and goods, naturally become lazy. And then
It repeats.
the circle goes back.
Yeah.
And so I think, the United States is at that place where, people have become a little bit too comfortable. As American in general, we all are. Like at home, it's like I was talking about my garden. Sometimes it's annoying at home when like the lettuce has dirt because we're accustomed to getting it clean on the bag. Well, guess what? Somebody's got to wash it.
Yeah.
But it's just
Well, we've covered a bunch of different things, but I'm curious, and you kind of touched on this, but if you had to put it into like a couple of sentences,
what this about?
no, what does being a man mean to you?
Oh man, I think
That's a great men's question, Circle.
yeah, I don't want to chop it up and not allow people to come and listen to what Manny has to say, because I think Manny is a much better speaker than I am. But I think one of the things that he said was about being generous, being honest, being vulnerable. Yeah, and following through. I think is
Being a man of your word, yeah, that's a big one.
yeah.
Yeah.
Doing something you say you're gonna do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Holding that promise to yourself, and then I think that's how you build that up to be there for your wife and your child and stuff like that. It's because like I showed up for myself. I do these things. I keep promises to myself.
That part.
And then I can keep promises to you and to my child and to the people who work for me or my family or whoever it is. Yeah. That's good. That's good stuff, man.
I hope you guys come.
Yeah, man. I'm
Yeah,
free.
yeah.
As long as I think I'm free.
Come to the one with Manny at least.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we
That's
should make it.
August
We should make it a
14th.
point to go to
August
his for
14th.
sure.
Yeah.
That would be beautiful to have you there because
It'll be a nice little escape for me.
Brian, you'll be in the middle.
Yeah,
of
you'll be-
well, I will not be surprised if you're not there.
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah,
I don't
you
want to.
never
I
know.
don't want to make any promises because I do like to keep my word. But we'll see. If I can make it, that'll definitely be right around the time where I could use a little break. You know, first 2 weeks in, let me
Keep in
go
mind,
cool out
we're
for
right
now.
down the street.
Yep.
Taylor.
I run past you guys sometimes when I'm running around. I almost ran down your street today, and I was like, you know what? I don't want to go up that hill.
It's a big one. The other day, somebody-
Sometimes I do it because I'm like, it's a good hill to start on because then nothing else is going to seem as hilly for the rest of this
my
run.
car won't make it up. You know? I saw somebody there the other day. They were like, "So this is why the fuck they call it High Street. Fuck this." You know, they were walking up. They were so mad.
Yeah, brutal stuff, man.
Have you been?
I think I know what you're talking
It's
about.
like
When
this.
you're going toward the train station, it's that first left that you can make to go back, and it
Oh.
cuts through. Yeah, it's that road that goes right up. It's right past like the entrance for the pop art
I mean,
thing.
walking up that hill sounds horrible.
Yeah.
Running up it sounds like
God.
death. Yeah.
That's why you're gonna
Respect.
be ready when August comes.
I said it to him before. I feel like a lot of this stuff, like me going through these changes and becoming more open and taking care of myself, because I never, it was like a lot, like I told you, I was a lot heavier. I was out of shape. It was definitely the nightlife industry, like
Yeah,
doing
similar.
drugs
We're probably
and
like
drinking.
hanging out in the same places.
Yeah, doing drugs and drinking all night, like only leads you so far. So like getting the body right was big for me, and I feel like a lot of the stuff that I've been doing since I got sober has all just prepared me, because like it happens when it's supposed to happen, you know. We talk about the universe and you trusting the universe, like it's gonna
You are a better man
unfold
than I
the
am.
way it's
Sometimes
supposed to.
I let the water hit my ass before I actually get moving.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
good for you.
Yeah.
Celebrate that, my friend. 'Cause,
Thank you.
I struggled.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so happy you're in a good place. You're gonna do great.
Thank you. I
You're gonna do-
appreciate
And I
it.
want to be there. So like, if you,
Yeah, for sure. We'll definitely be around. They're growing up together, you know.
it's beautiful. I'm so
Yeah.
excited. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. I thank you again for coming on. And just before we wrap up, this camera right here is you. If anything you want to promote, Cacao Lab, the men's circles.
Make sure you put that mic in front of you for this one. Yeah, so
the
everybody
time,
can.
Absolutely.
time and dates.
So
You got this.
Is your audience local? No.
Well, a lot of there's a good amount of people. There's a
Yeah.
guy in Singapore that listens to every episode.
What?
Maybe hell show up.
Wicked. Well, if you're upstate, pull up. If you're coming all the way from Singapore, shit, I'll cook for you
In the ground.
on the ground. So our men's circles are the second Thursday of every month at Kelta, which is my partner's, my girlfriend's. We're not married yet. Spa here in Beacon, New York. It's amazing. It's got infrared saunas, cold plunges. My favorite flow tanks or sensory deprivation tanks, and the boots that you were just talking, the compression boots.
All the stuff she mentioned in
Yeah.
her episode.
It's wicked cool. Yeah, so you should go back a couple episodes.
If you
and-
like this episode with Federico, go back and watch our episode with Taylor.
I highly recommend that one.
Yeah.
I mean, like I was saying in the beginning, the idea behind these circles is to have a place where you can be yourself. Hopefully, you feel comfortable to take off your mask, and you'll be supported not only with fellow brothers that are going through some similar things potentially, but also with like people that can equip you with some tools to get ahead in life. And by that I mean just make yourself more comfortable. Or uncomfortable, but nonetheless, like, you know, moving forward. And I mean, Cacao Lab is cacaolaboratory.com. my sister Florencia, her information is all in there. She does these wonderful cacao ceremonies all over the world, trainings as well. And the website where you can find it is cacaolaboratory.com. Thank you for letting me plug it in there.
Yeah. What's
Absolutely.
the address in Kingston too? So
The
people know.
address in for a shop in Kingston, New York, which you can actually find some things that are not on our website. Like I acquired a lot of chocolate making equipment, and that's another one of my hobbies besides farming is or growing my food. I shouldn't call it farming, but it's
being-
chocolate making.
It's being Willy Wonka. Yeah.
It's Willy Wonka. So I have some very cool stuff there that I make. Like
Willy
but
Wonka with the what's it called over the end? the Spanish. What's it? I forget what it's called.
with the accent.
Yeah, there you go.
Willy Wonka.
Perfect.
Yeah. Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
It's a great store too. We went for
Yeah.
my birthday this year, and we have loved the chocolate that we
It's-
got in there.
It's a beautiful compliment coming from you because your shop is also like
Oh, the Desiree shop.
beyond. Fair enough.
Yeah,
She's got that
she
magic.
put a lot of heart and soul into that place.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. That's what I aspire to be. So thank you. It's been a collaborative effort. It's just people pulling up. If it was up to me and what it looked like when I first opened, you guys, you would have laughed. But thankfully, friends pulled up and they were like, "Hey, I'd like to paint the mural." Caro Arevalo did a beautiful mural there. She teaches how to paint. It's a beautiful artist. Then another friend, Romany, who did all the interior decoration, and just people showing up and just offering to help. So I can't take credit for it. But it's at 295 Wall Street in Kingston, New York. That's right next to the Ulster County Courthouse, or to the Kinsley Hotel, which is right there in the corner. We're open right now. Saturday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It's summer. It's a little bit weird schedule. It's a little bit slow up there right now, and with our summer shipping, it just makes sense to close. But in the winter, we're open more days, which just makes sense to also come up because you can get my wonderful chocolates and my full line, which I don't make in the summer months when it's hotter.
And a hot cacao.
And a hot cacao, the way that it should be.
Yeah, it was delicious, man. Thank you for bringing that along. And most of all, thank you for your vulnerability and sharing your story.
Thank
we
cacao.
appreciate that.
Thank
yeah,
cacao.
and the cacao, of course. Yeah.
No, but that's
what brought it out, right?
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, JP.
Thanks, Federico.
Thank you.